You know, I'm kind of proud of myself here before we get into this review because I set out to do the 2015 After Dark Horror Fest 8 Films to Die For, which is 8 films that are available on Burn On Demand DVDs, and I have finished them. This is the last one in the Wind Walkers, and some could say I saved the worst for last. If you'd seen this one and you made that statement, you wouldn't be too far off from the truth. This one possesses a bit of a complex plot that I'm just going to try to read off the back of the DVD case because it's a little too complicated or a little over my pay grade in some spots. I will say we have an Indian fellow that looks right at the screen from the fire and kind of gives us a little heads up on what's going on at the start of it, and he comes back at the end of it. But here is the plot directly from the back of the case because this one left me wondering what the heck is going on from time to time. A U.S. soldier returns home from captivity to find that his best friend and fellow former POW has gone AWOL. While out on an annual hunting trip with his friend's father, and some extended family, the group comes under attack by an ancient Native American curse that has mysterious connection, I should say, to the best friend's heritage and the prison in which the soldiers were once held captive. So we're combining kind of a paranormal thing with kind of a zombie thing with kind of an infected thing, and it all has a Native American Indian bowl on it. So it's a mess. It really is a mess. I don't think anybody here is really likable. People do just some dumb things. It's really hard at times to know what the heck is going on because with a broad thing like that, it's kind of out in the open. Is this ghost? Is it kind of a zombie thing? Is it just Native American stuff going on? Like these are things that just are often asked, and very seldom do we find a answer to anything that we're wondering as we watch this thing. And I personally had a hard time finishing it. So this one, which so happens to be the last one of the 8 films to die for that I watched in this set, is the worst. And that being said, I'm giving it a 1.5. So it's a mess. And you could say, well, there's a few cool things here. There's a few cool gore things here, but there's more confusing things than good things. And the leading guy running around looking like Nightwolf from Mortal Kombat doesn't help it. Even if it sounds like it should, it does not. The cover doesn't help it. This thing went out of its way to not help itself from the jump. This is the worst cover of the bunch, and there is some lazy covers in this 8 films to die for set. So, if you've never seen Windwalkers, don't feel bad. Every review I've read after I watched it are pretty well just as confused as I am. I don't think I've seen anybody suggest it. So, I don't even think it has a Wikipedia page. And usually, if you're like at least from Fox and you don't have a Wikipedia page, there's a problem. So, when it comes to Windwalkers, unless you just want really confused, or maybe you're a rocket scientist and can figure this out, don't watch it. 1.5. Skip it. And thus concludes the 2015 After Dark Horror Fest 8 Films to Die For.